Okay, thank you. Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for coming to our Dharma assembly. Today is one of the more important events in Buddhism. This is a very important event for all of us. This is why we put on the efforts to make this happen. This is called Ulambana. Those of you who don't know, Ullambana is the event where we get together and do something to help rescue those who are hanging upside down. Hanging upside down meaning that they are suffering. Imagine you are hung up upside down 24 hours a day for millions of years. This is what happens. And therefore, there's a lot of suffering of these people. So we get together here to provide relief for such living beings. Who are they? Are they related to us? Yes, they are. A lot more than you think. You can imagine. This is the from the Buddha's wisdom. Shakyamuni Buddha taught his disciple, the protagonist of this sutra we recited today, Great Master Maudgalyayana. He became enlightened, cultivating under the Buddha, and eventually after he opened his wisdom, he then attained spiritual penetrations. You notice the order. In Buddhism, you first want to open your wisdom, and then you develop skills to serve your wisdom. So what did Maudgalyayana do after he opened his wisdom? He says, now I understand more. My head is clearer. And then what is the most important thing I should do? He said, I should look at my mother. I'm worried about her. I need to take care of her. So he used his spiritual eye and to look at his mother and realize that his mother has fallen into the hungry ghost realms. And this is according to the Buddha's words. All right? He recounted this story. And so Maudgalyayana, of course, is very upset. So he, as the Buddha said, as the sutra says, immediately took a bowl of rice and food and flew to his mother's side and gave her the bowl of rice. But the mother could not eat it because as soon as she made the bowl of rice into a small bowl of rice and put it in her mouth, her karmic retribution was so severe that the food became burning coal, and she burned herself, and she could not eat. That's the nature of the karmic retributions. It's a lot more serious than most people realize. We all live in ignorance. We don't realize there's some consequences, some serious consequences that happen to us, that are waiting for us, that make us suffer. So Maudgalyayana's mother created very severe offenses when she was alive. So after she passed away, Maudgalyayana knew it very well, so he knew that his mother would be in trouble. But he couldn't confirm it until he was able to open his spiritual eye. Yes, 8.
Master, Alex's sister has been having visions of Master YongHua, and he wanted her to relay a message to Master.
Okay.
Is this on? Okay. So I was given a gift from a very ancient, spirit or God, and I was talking to Master YongHua, and he told me that I wouldn't be able to use it, but if I could give it to you, because you would understand the wisdom in it. May I give it to you?
Sure.
Okay, can I come up to you? Or?
Sure. Am I supposed to take it? Okay. Thank you. What did he tell? Did he say what it was?
No, I just know when I got it, I could tell it's very old. It's from, I actually got it in a museum. It was from ancient Cambodian religious statue.
I see. Okay, thank you. Okay, so when we are alive, we tend to create a lot of offenses. The kinds of offenses such as by the nature of greed and other such offenses will create the causes for us to fall into the hungry ghost realms in the future. So that's what happened to Maudgalyayana's mother. She was very greedy, she was a very evil person, created a lot of offenses, so she fell and became in very bad shape. So Maudgalyayana tried to help her, tried to feed her. When you're hungry ghost, you're very hungry, you're very thirsty all the time. And you're like that for millions or billions of years. It's very severe, a lot more than you think. And so Maudgalyayana could not help her, so he asked for help from the Buddha, and the Buddha taught him how to do it properly. He said, your mother's offenses created a lot of roots. She created so many offenses that the roots of those offenses are very heavy and jie, so they are interconnected. And that's the nature of the offenses we tend to create. We create one offense and we create similar offenses. They network up and make it very difficult to undo. Okay, and so the Buddha said, even with the person of your wisdom and your powers, it's still not enough. You should get the help from the sangha of the 10 directions. And if we all pull our resources together, our strengths together, then we can help your mother. So that's what they did. So they asked Maudgalyayana set up this ceremony here, where he asked all the sangha, the 10 directions, meaning not only in this our world, our galaxy, but all the galaxies throughout the universe. If you can imagine, infinitely many galaxies throughout the universe. And we all, at the same time, recited the sutra and recited the mantra, and that's how we were able, that's how Maudgalyayana was able to rescue his mother. So because of that experience, the Buddha said, this is not just for you. In the future, this is also good for every single living being. Everyone on the 15th day of the 7th lunar month should get together and perform the ceremony so that we can help our parents and our ancestors. Which ones? Your current parents, as well as your parents of the 7 previous lifetimes. So 8 generations. Okay? The current parents would live long to be 100 years and would have adequate necessities and free from sicknesses and be in good health. And the previous 7 generation of parents as well, they should receive some help as well. So this is how important it is, this particular Dharma here. It's not for us at all. This is a chance for us to practice filial piety, where on this day here, we get together and make offerings to the Triple Jewel on behalf of our parents and ancestors. And that's how they'll be provided for on this day. all right, and then escape suffering. Yes, DTT.
Question. In the spirit of Ullambana, can you teach us how to help the sangha improve the skill quicker? Thank you.
What was the question again? Not clear.
Can you teach us how to help the sangha improve their skill quicker?
Help who?
The sangha.
Oh, the Sangha.
Yes.
Oh, we're trying to help your parents and ancestors. Today, you don't need to help the Sangha. But thank you. Very, very kind and thoughtful of you. Eventually you find out. Usually I cannot answer those questions because I'm part of the Sangha, and therefore whatever I say could be construed as I'm helping myself. So false modesty prevents me from giving you a real good answer. Okay? You have to figure it out in general. So lots of things. Your coming to the temple is helping everyone, not just us as well. I like to think that you don't need to specifically help the Sangha. You help everyone else. You pitch in and help propagate the Dharma, and that's helping the Sangha. Okay? Q&A, go ahead.
Bà Thanh Đề vì ác tâm khi đến chùa không có được đối xử tốt, cho nên bà trả thù. Thì vì ác tâm và sự trả thù đó mà bà bị đọa địa ngục. Câu hỏi của con là nếu mà đến chùa mà không được một vài vị nào đó đối xử tốt đẹp, thì những cái vị mà đối xử không tốt với bà đó có bị một cái gọi là có bị tội hay không? A Di Đà Phật.
Master Maudgalyayana mothers have evil mind, evil intention when she came to the temple because the people at the temple did not treat her well. Therefore, she take a revenge on that. Because of that vengeance mind and the hatred that they want to take revenge, that's why she fall into the hell realm. So my question to you is, so for the people who came to the temple that that some people did not treat her well enough, did not treat us well enough. So these people who doesn't treat people well enough at the temple, do they create offenses or not?
What do you think? Yes or no? Who says yes? Who says no? Can I hear a show of hands for yes? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. What about no's? 0 no's. That's your answer right there. Okay. There are a couple of things here that should be clear to you. Number 1, when you come to my temple and my kitchen manager, for example, treats you badly, I've heard it did happen repeatedly. Okay? So you can retaliate if that's what you wish. Some people retaliated by spitting in my food. Maybe. Or her food. Or, Xian Shun's food, who knows? But the point is, you have a choice to retaliate, okay? And so that retaliation, is it your fault or is it Xian Tong's fault? It's both. First of all, when you retaliate, like Maudgalyayana's mother, she created her own offenses, therefore she had to undergo the consequences, yes, the repercussions herself. as recounted in the sutra. And furthermore, what about those people who made her create offenses? They too now have created offenses against you, against Maudgalyayana's mother. And therefore, in the future, because Xintong got you to create offenses at his temple, and you fell to the hells and so forth, and hungry ghosts and animal realms and so forth. In the future, when you have a chance, you can definitely, and you will definitely get back at her. Okay? And you'll come back and kill her, torture her to death, and all those things to make her pay for the pain and suffering that she made you go through because of her offenses against you. Okay? So yes, if the sangha mistreats Maudgalyayana's mother, and because of that she retaliated and committed serious offenses, those sanghas are also will undergo the consequences. They must bear the burden for the mother's Maudgalyayana. Oh my God, this name is impossible. Okay. I'm sorry, I don't have condition with this guy. Okay. I cannot pronounce his name for some reason. Okay, so this guy, can I call him this guy? Okay. Otherwise, I will keep on butchering his names, and I said that's an offense. And so this guy's mother got in trouble because of those sanghas, and therefore those sanghas must pay for her pain and suffering. Number one. Number two, she also the sangha must also, they are also indirectly responsible for the guy's mother's offenses. So it's not just one level, but also the other level as well, the indirect consequences as well. So that's why when you create offenses, there are layers of consequences. Okay? So you may not, for example, be directly affected by the killing offenses, let's say, but because you aided in the effort, you indirectly responsible for it. Now you suffer inflation and a lack of grains, and and so forth. So, for example, in today's events, the war between Ukraine and Putin, it's some killing offenses there. Okay, but we are not directly involved in that. However, we are indirectly affected by that. You see that? So that's what happens to the sanghas. They are indirectly affected as well. So they will bear a lot more consequences. All right? So your karmas carry some consequences. You create bad karmas, you will suffer. You create good karmas, you will benefit from it. Was there a question here? 4.
Thank you, Master. I would like to know, because I imagine there's been like people that have hurt me in past lives and in this life, but I don't want to retaliate or anything like that. Is there any way that can be forgiven or forgotten?
If you don't want to retaliate, you can simply forgive them, and that's it. That's all you have to do. Then they won't have to undergo the retributions. They won't have to suffer from your future karmas or future retaliations. That's all. Okay? It's that simple. It's all in your mind. If you're upset and you hold a grudge, you will retaliate down the road. If you don't, then it's no debt. It's nothing to settle. All right? And so this day here, how much more time do I have? This day here is important because because to make it cut the story short, is because it's a very important lesson that we can all draw upon it. Lesson number 1, okay, in Buddhism, if you have wisdom at all, you should take care of your parents. It's called filial piety. That's Buddhist wisdom. You don't have to be Buddhist, but you should know about this. We should all commit to taking care of our parents. It's that simple. If you do that, then you are planting the seeds for your children to be filial as well. That's one of the things you want to teach your children, is do the right things. If though that's important to you, then this is one of the important things you need to do. Teach your children, be filial, okay? And by being filial yourself, not by simply talking. You have to do it. You have to act it out on your own. If you do that, you are actually causing your children to be filial in the future. How's that for that important lesson? Number 2, furthermore, you can do even better. You should also teach your children to be filial when possible. Don't force them to be Buddhist. Don't force them to do things they don't want to do. However, if you have a chance, okay, you yourself go to the temple on days like today, where you do something for your parents, for your ancestors, okay? And if possible, your children would ask you, Mom, Dad, why are you doing this? And that's when you say, let me tell you, this is very important for me, okay? That this is what I do for my parents, this is what I do for our ancestors, and I hope that in the future, you too will do this, because it's one of the most important things I want to teach you about life, okay? It's not about talk. So if possible, bring your children to the temple, have them walk around with us, have them recite mantras, have them do something to the triple jewel and explain to them, on this particular day here, you should do something, and because you do something to help out, okay, and dedicate that, transfer the merit and virtue, okay, to your parents, to your ancestors, okay. So on this day here, whatever you do, I know most of your children are too busy going out to have fun, and they don't believe in what you do anyway, okay? But teach them when they're young. Teach them when they're still pliable, okay? Even when they're older. I want people like Gu Yin who have older children. She should tell her older sons and daughters, whatever, to come to the temple, any temple, okay, and make an offering to Triple Jewel, because that offering today comes back to your parents and your ancestors in a big way. In a typical temple, you should get about 1,000 times back. Okay, in a big temple like Master Shiwa's temple, better temples like his temple, you should get about 10,000 back, 100,000 back. Ours is slightly better. Just kidding. The idea here is teach them to do something that will benefit. It's truly beneficial. And this is kind of wisdom that they will not get anywhere else. Okay? Don't need to force them to become Buddhists. Teach them to do these things, this tradition that we should all teach our children and future generations to take opportunities like this to do something for our parents and our ancestors. That's very important to me, a very important deal for us. Okay? Teach them to do something, don't just talk. Okay? Make them bring something to the temple, bring some, I don't know, I notice typically on days like today, Chinese temples, toothpaste and toothbrushes. Okay, look at the table. I bet you there's some. Okay, so the point here is that the earlier question, what can I do with the sangha on days like today? Unfortunately for me, the elder monk, disciple of Master YongHua, taught me wrong. He sarcastically told me today for us Buddhists is like Christmas Day, we get gifts. I said, really? I became a monk to look forward to Christmas Day, Buddhist Christmas Day? Are you kidding me? So I was turned off by that kind of attitude. So I never took this event very seriously until recently. When I see children here, I see eager people who want to be taught how to benefit others. If you want to help others, start by helping your children, helping your parents and your ancestors. Okay, these are the days. These are the events. Okay? So I would even bring my husband, my recently crowned husband, recently acquired husband, and say, "You, come here, drive me to the temple, and bring some fruits. Drop in $1 in donation box. What for? For the sake of your parents and your ancestors." You see, get them to do something, and baby steps, and the ball starts rolling. Okay, and it will create immense benefits for them, ultimately. Okay, does it help? So that's what I wanted to stress. There's that guy there, that monk there, senior disciple of Master YongHua, said, "This is Christmas for us." And I said, "Really? We're going to get a lot of toothpaste? And you call it Christmas, Buddhist Christmas?" Monks and nuns, sanghas, this is not the days that's not for us. It's for everyone. This is our chance to share the Buddhist wisdom here that will provide in this knowledge and this wisdom here by teaching others, especially our children, our relatives, that will provide some real relief of the suffering in this world. Okay? Those are real, not just talk. And one more comment about, because it really bothered me when I read the sutra here for many, many years and couldn't ask anyone. He says in the sutra, and the Buddha says, if you make an offering this on days like today to the triple jewel, your parents, if they're still alive, will live to be 100 years old and will be free from sickness and will have all the necessities taken care of and have a good life. And I was wondering, well, I know a lot of people do that, and the parents still get sick, and they still struggle. How come? Did the Buddha lie? Is it not true? Yes. Grandma talking.
Mô Phật Thầy, cái này Mô Phật Thầy, cái này không phải mà Đức Phật nói sai. Tại cái mỗi người, một cái gia đình, mỗi người tạo nghiệp, mỗi người phải chịu cái nghiệp đó thôi. Giống như mình bao nhiêu kiếp mình không có biết được, nhưng mình tạo có nghiệp bệnh, và kiếp này mình phải trả vậy thôi. Cái này là bình thường, Thầy, không có gì đâu. Mô Phật Thầy.
Good.
Emitofuo Master, I think that this is not the Buddha speak wrongly. It is because of each individual of us in the family have created offenses that we have to undergo the retributions, especially if we created offense that make make other people sick, then we have to undergo that retribution, and that is very normal.
The reason I'm bringing it up, good question, is because if you explain this to your children, like Heidi explained to her children, it would bring it up, say, really? I mean, you sick, and I offer this Ulambana offering here, and you're still sick, you still limp. Something is wrong. So that's why I'm helping you, preparing you to answer such questions, which I had myself, and I could not find answers until recently. What the sutra says is that every time when you come and make offerings on this particular event, particular day, then you are creating the causes for your parents, if they are alive, to be free from sickness and live a long life and be well taken care of. You're creating the causes. The sutra doesn't spell it out that specifically, but that's what the Buddha meant. Okay? Your act of goodnesses, your act of filial piety will cause your parents to be free from sickness and live 100 years and so forth. Okay? However, that's only your side. Well, on your parents' side, if they also created offenses themselves, they might offset, they might be so forth. So that's why it's not as visible you think. It's not as obvious in the connection you see from the good karmas you create on behalf of your parents and what happens to them. All right? Yeah. So, but it helps. Whatever you do today, on days like today, are tremendously helpful. Okay, whatever you do comes back 100 times to the benefit, depending on where you do it, depending on how you do it. Okay, so Sanghans, this is when you really concentrate and really, this is why we circumambulated and recited that mantra and so forth. Okay, that's when you concentrate, because that's when you really help them maximize their multiplier, their return. This is where you earn your pay. This is when you earn your Christmas gifts. All right? So the day is not over yet. It's not too late. You still, if whatever, if you have your sons or daughter are out of town, call them and say, I want you to get, go to your local temple and bring an offering. Okay? Teach them to do something today. All right? Yes, 9.
Thank you, Master. So for the Westerner, filial piety is really a hard concept to understand. So how do I explain to the duty and responsibility as the daughter or the son of the parents?
I'm sorry. For the Westerners, what?
Yeah, Westerners. How do I explain the filial piety's responsibility of children of taking care of their parents?
You don't have to explain to them. Don't try to explain to them. You just do it yourself. Okay? And you only influence the people you can influence, like your children. Even the children who don't like you, who don't love you, don't try to influence them either. Just influence the ones that you can. That's all. We influence people by doing, not by talking. Okay? My approach to all this is to do more and talk even less, if at all. Okay? And so it's nothing to explain. I do not like to explain until people really want to know. And if they ask me, I would wait. I still won't tell them. I would make sure they are sincere. They're serious about wanting to learn, wanting to know. Okay? So I'm very conservative. I don't explain things to people, although I simply do. Okay? And eventually, They pick it up. That's why it takes longer. But once they understand, they will buy into it. Whereas you try to explain things to people, it could become a sales pitch. It could be construed as we are some sort of cult, that we're not, we're weird enough already. There's no need to make it worse for ourselves. Okay? Yes, 9.
Can I make a confess? I actually forced my husband to come, even though he didn't want to come, and I shall not name him, but I don't think, is it forcing somebody to come? Is it to create his blessing as well?
Your particular husband is an exception. He should be forced.
Thank you. You heard that.
For example, never mind about the bigger husband, but the younger children, okay? Sometimes you force them because you create a habit in them, and they will benefit from it. So sometimes you force it. Okay, it's a good thing to force them, especially when they have no choice. They're totally helpless. Force them. Okay. Yes, 2.
Mô Phật và Thầy, mình đi chùa đó thì nó có nhiều cách lắm. Đức Phật dạy đó, mình ở trong chùa đó thì có cái lục hòa. Tất cả tăng ni, đệ tử và Phật tử mình vô chùa đó phải có một cái lục hòa, chứ không phải vô chùa mà để sân si, để phiền não. Cái đó là rất là khó độ được chúng sanh. Mình ở trong chùa đó, bất cứ tăng ni, thầy cô đó có cái lục hòa đó thì tất cả người ta hoan hỷ. Mà vô trong chùa đó không có cái lục hòa rồi đó, mình nhìn đó thấy nó không có lục hòa là mình nhìn một cái cũng biết, thấy cái chùa nó không có được thoải mái, không có được thoải mái. Theo con đi chùa đó cũng là nhiều năm lắm là con quan sát những cái chuyện đó rất là ở trong tâm con. Miễn mà mình đi vô chùa mà gặp cái sư cô đó nó sân si với mình đó, thì mình con người biết đi chùa đó thì mình sẽ buông tha những người đó, mình không có chấp những cái người đó. Đó là người mình mới được là người đi chùa. Rồi mà người đi chùa đó vô tới chùa thấy cái người này sân si, người kia sân si, cái sĩ bán rồi đó, mình đâu có tới chùa nữa đâu. Mua Phật là cái thứ nhất. Ok, còn thứ nhì nữa.
She sounds so afflicted.
Emitofuo Master, I think that going to the temple, there's a lot of ways to do about that. The Buddha taught us that those who go to the temple, the people at the temple, we should have harmony together. We need to have harmony so that we don't get angry or afflicted others. It is very hard for living beings. So for us, when we go to the temple, we see any monks and nuns that they have harmony, everybody will be happy. If not, then I feel really uncomfortable. For me, when I go to other temple, I also observe this. And to me, that when I see monks or nuns that have anger, as a disciple, I just let go. I'm not gonna get attached to that anger. That is how I think that the people who go to the temple are supposed to do. But if you don't, you hold on to your anger and you slander, it is not that you go to the temple.
Okay, don't be so afflicted. Okay, don't make the same mistakes as those people. Of course, a sangha is called sangha because it's a harmonious body, but it's a work in progress. We're not harmonious. We're not supposed to be harmonious. We are harmonious, then we're enlightened already. Okay? Even after we become enlightened, we still are not harmonious. Okay? So it's just the way it is. And this particular sangha I mentioned, Xian Tong, she's when you cross her, she has certain weaknesses. You waste water, you waste electricity, you waste food. She will go berserk. She will kill you. Okay, you better know. So it's gonna hurt. And she has kung fu. So when she gets upset like that, she will really hurt you. Okay, and so you cannot blame, number one, her, because she's manic. It's not her, it's a manic ghost. I tell people that, but they don't seem to remember. They only remember, why do you yell at me? I'm trying to help. Okay? You have to be more compassionate. Sometimes people behave a certain way, out of control, in a very stupid way, because they cannot help themselves. This is when you have to take the high road. And they say, okay, I see that you're committing serious offenses. Okay? You know that. Okay? You, in your heart, you know that. And therefore, develop some compassion and kindness and say, you're going to pay for this. Master YongHua is going to make you pay for this, because Master YongHua never forgets. He will make you pay, okay? You never know when you least expect it. That's when he springs it on you, okay? But the point is that when it happens to you, it happens to you like Wu Yin says, the spy number 1 says, you, number 1, should know that you're afflicted and say, and have developed some compassion. Okay? Say, this person is going to have it. Master YongHua will definitely punish you, for sure. Guaranteed. Okay? And so you have some compassion, because when I punish her, boy, is she going to suffer more than she made you suffer. For sure. Okay? There's a multiplier for her as well. If she makes you suffer 10, I will make her suffer 10,000 or a little bit higher. Okay? Guaranteed. And if I delay, the longer I delay, the more it carries interest. Okay? So you know that she's going to suffer. So have some compassion. Don't have to retaliate, okay? Don't have to get upset. Number 2, okay? You're here at the temple for Ulambana, for your parents, not for Xian Tong. So whatever Xian Tong does is irrelevant. It's not that important to you. Some of you are here because you want to be trained by me, you want to learn from me. And therefore, many of you have benefited greatly from your training, from the help you receive from our sangha. Is that still not enough for you to overlook an idiot? A sick person? Then you don't deserve to be here. You see? And that's what happened. Yeah, on the way back here, the old monk said, such and such person who's I declared to be Arhat range recently left the temple because Xian Tong. And I chuckled. I said, really? She was nothing. She came here. We trained her to bring to Arhat range, first stage, second stage, third stage, fourth, and so forth. It's still not enough for her to overlook that a mistake that one of our sanghas made to her offended her personally, and that's it. So that means that, according to Gojin, she'd be worried. I'm not even worried about such people. Such people, if it's not because it's Xian Tong, will be someone else who make her leave, right? Because she's not here to cultivate. She's not here to receive training. She's here only to suck our blood. And then once we're done, she'll leave anyway. So who cares if she leaves early or not, right? Such people don't deserve to be here, honestly. So what do we care if she's here or not? If she's here, she managed to hang on a little bit longer, good for her. If she can't, tough luck. Don't worry about such people. The flip side of it is look around you. The people who are here, I'm still here because it went through many such tests already. Not just Xian Tong, but also Xian Shun. Also Xian Xian. Okay? So many Xians who are making it very difficult for you. And you're still around because you have tremendous blessings. Because you are, what's that word? Special. Okay? You're superior. That's why you're still here. The weak ones cannot take it, they leave. Tough luck. And they bounce around from temple to temple. They go to different lesser temple that say, excuse me, okay, lesser temple, who would treat them nicer because they're afraid they will leave. But you know what? Such people will bounce around to the next temple eventually, because one day they say, someone blocked me in the parking lot. If you're Vietnamese, you go to the Vietnamese temple. They park behind you, 4 or 5 layers. By the time you try to get out, it takes half an hour to go find the right person. That's how the Vietnamese function, by the way. I went to a Vietnamese temple in Santa Ana. It's like 10 layers of cars behind me. And who do you call? Okay? So they will find things will afflict them. They don't realize that the great assembly Dharma, the nature of that, you come here, is for you to get afflicted. One way or the other. You can't take it, get out. That's how it works. No regrets. We try to help you, teach you as long as you can hold on to it, as long as you appreciate it. You don't, there's plenty of temples out there. You don't need us. Number 2, you shouldn't worry, old woman. Worry about your own children. Teach them filial piety. You have a second question, second point, second complaint? No? No mas? Oh, I answered the second complaint already. Q&A. I'm glad I made my point immediately, because if you start asking questions, I will never have enough time. Okay? Teach your children. Train your children. That's all I want you to do. Think small. Take care of the people that you can help right now. That's it. Okay? That's good enough. Yes, Q&A.
Dạ, thưa Thầy, con có một câu hỏi. Cha mẹ ở trong gia đình thì đi chùa xong rồi cũng được nghe giảng dạy nói con là nợ. Cho nên ở trong gia đình thì có những đứa con thì biết nghe lời, vâng lời cha mẹ, còn có con đó thì không có nghe lời. Cho nên cha mẹ cho là đứa con đó là cái cục nợ. Nên đối xử nó không có thương yêu nó bằng những cái đứa con khác ở trong gia đình. Đồng thời là đi coi bói thì thầy bói cũng nói cái đứa con tuổi này nè thì là cục nợ của quý vị, rồi xui xẻo cho gia đình. Cho nên là phải làm sao để đừng để cho nó sống chung trong gia đình, thì quý vị cứ bị nhận những cái xui xẻo đó. Nên cha mẹ quyết định là cho cái đứa con đó đi ở một cái gia đình khác, ví dụ ở với nội với ngoại. Đó, thành ra là cái tình thương mà cái đứa con đó nó không có nhận được từ cha mẹ, nó không có được cái tình thương đó, nên cái liên đới giữa cha mẹ đó nó thiếu, nó không có giống như những cái đứa con khác. Thưa thầy, con có câu hỏi đó là như vậy thì cái đứa con đó nó có trở thành là cái đứa con bất hiếu đối với cha mẹ, tại vì nó không có nhận được cái tình thương đó, nên là nó không có cảm nhận được cái tình thương cha mẹ, thì nó cũng không có cảm thấy rằng là nó cần phải sống tốt với cha mẹ. Rồi ngược lại cha mẹ cũng thấy đứa con đó là cục nợ, cho nên cũng không có thương cái đứa con đó bằng những cái đứa con khác. Thì con xin thầy giải thích giúp con. Con cảm ơn thầy.
Emitofuo Master, I've heard that I have a question. So in the family, the parents go to the temple and was taught that sometimes the children is the karmic debt. Sometimes they listen and they don't listen to you. For those who does not listen to you, it is your karmic debt. So they don't love and treat that particular ones well enough compared to those others kids. So sometimes they go to the fortune teller with saying this kids with this particular age is your karmic debt, will bring misfortune to your family and to your house. Therefore, don't let them live with you. So they bring the kids to a different family, for example, living with their grandparents instead of living with them. Therefore, I have a question is this. With those children who got mistreated, are they become unfilial? It is part of it is because the parents does not treat them well enough, does not give them enough love that they deserve, comparing to those who being treated well. So does that mean that also part of it is because of the parents doesn't treat them well? Do they create offenses or unfilial to the parents?
Not at all. Is the answer. For most cases, it's not. They will not become unfilial at all, because even though you look at the relationship between parents and children, not just Asian parents, but non-Asian parents here, they don't necessarily become unfilial at all because they're mistreated by their parents. Children love their parents naturally. Okay. And so the majority of them will love the parents regardless. And so no matter how they're treated, they still love the parents. In particular, one particular example is that if the children have blessings, they will naturally become filial, by the way. Your filial children are the one with tremendous blessings. Those are good signs you can notice, okay? Or they eventually become very, very filial, so you don't have to worry about it. And I wish that the Asians would waste less time and money on seeing those fortune tellers. They're nonsense. Okay, maybe there's some degree of accuracy, like 50%, 60, 70, 80%, but never 100%. That 20% they're wrong could get you into big trouble. Okay, so stop that nonsense. Don't go to fortune tellers because they don't know what they're talking about. When they're motivated by money, you cannot trust these people, number one. Number two, in Buddhism, nothing is fixed. Even if you have unfilial children, you can turn them into filial. Nothing is ever fixed. Okay? So I would not worry about it at all. Don't blame the parents. Just try your best to be a good person. No need to say that children are your debts and so forth. Love your children. That's all that matters. Their children are lovely. At least some. Okay? Enjoy them while you still can. When they're younger, when they're a little bit older, become despicable to me. Excuse me. Some prejudices of mine. But anyway, enjoy them. That's all. When they get older, enjoy fighting with them. Beat the heck out of them. That kind of thing. Enjoy. My attitude is enjoy the children as who they are. Whatever, while you still can. Okay? Don't worry about their debts or not debts. Children. You go out and you see a helpless person on the street. You want to help them. That's your natural impulse. Right? At least for most of you. When your children are helpless, you look at them and say, hey, help them grow. Help them become happier, less depressed. Give to your children. All of them. not just the one that you like. Okay? All of them. Open your heart. Okay? What kind of Buddhist are you? You say, you are my debt. Yeah? I hope the monks and nuns should stop talking like that and correct you. And say that you should love your children. Even if they're here to collect debts on you, still love them. Be a good person. Be a good parent. That's all. Okay? And don't be so like, because you're here to collect from me, therefore I don't have to be nice to you. That's stupidity. Here you collect from me, if you're here to collect from me, I pay you more so that I can pay you off quicker. Yes, 8.
From Emily, if I got plaques for my grandparents, would that blessing also carry down to my parents? I didn't do it for that reason, but just curious.
No, your grandparents are your grandparents. Your parents are different. It's a different accounts. Okay? So they don't necessarily carry down at all. But whatever you do on Ulambanas will help them all. Okay. All right, anything else? Okay. Yes, question in the back? Give her a microphone. We'll make a special exception today so that you can ask questions. Yes.
Is that okay?
Longer than yes.
Sure.
Go ahead, 1.
How do you know when you're helping someone versus meddling in their life?
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Okay, number 1, when you're able to help. Don't be like, because I teach you, when you're helping, you're meddling and so forth. What kind of person are we? When we teach you about being a good person, about becoming a better person, and you have to calculate, should I help her? Should I help him? Because it's not advantageous for me to help him. You know, what kind of person is that? It's not what we're teaching you. What we're teaching you is that I want to make it clear. I encourage people to help others. I encourage you to follow your ideals. There are a lot of people out there whose ideals are to help others, to serve others. That's fantastic. Okay, I strongly encourage that. Okay, but when we talk to you about meddling, is to remind you that when you help others, there's some consequences. Be prepared for it at all. Okay, so don't ignore those consequences. In particular, when we teach you, we train you, and we give you tools, such as mantras, for example. They are very, very powerful. They will enable you to help a lot more people. Okay, because those are very powerful tools. You can have greater effects for a lot more people and in a greater way. And when we teach those tools, give you those tools and train you how to use them, the first rule is we said, do not use this for others, because you should not use them until you have the wisdom to use them properly. And so this process is first help you develop wisdom. Number 2, then develop the strength to use those tools properly. So that's why we caution you we talked about the concept of meddling, okay? But it's not meant to discourage you from helping at all, or living your life in fear. So, I'm helping my mother. Should I? Shouldn't I? I'm helping this person here. Who needs help out there. Should I, shouldn't I? Help if you can. Don't live in fear like that, okay? If you're not sure, come and ask, okay? Should I help, should I not? Because, of course, we we will be glad to help clarify things for you so that you don't have to live in fear. Be so fearful. The knowledge is supposed to set you free, not imprison you. But part of the knowledge is that you should know to avoid getting in trouble, but not live in fear. Okay? Yes, 5.
Thank you.
Thank you, Master. Is there, speaking of mantras, is there a mantra that you can recommend? I have been studying healing, energy healing for the last 11 years and just been volunteering, and now I've added hypnotherapy so I can work on humans. Is there a mantra that would be beneficial for both of us in helping them as well as myself and not absorbing or meddling or anything negative?
And that's a very, very dangerous thing to do, healing others. Number one, when you heal others, invariably you take on their illness. And therefore, you need to learn how to deal with that. Okay? And it's very serious business. When you heal others, you'll become sick yourself. Whether it's mental illness, even more dangerous, because they come at you, and if they can't, they come at your family. So that's why you have to be very careful when you go into healing. And so, it's too complex of a subject to be able to be addressed in a brief way. But you have to be careful about healing, and in particular, if you heal for money, it's even more dangerous. Okay? If you don't heal for money, then are you some kind of fool? You heal for money, you're going to get sick, you're going to die. Can you handle it? I would not recommend healing for lay people. It's a mistake. For lay people, you heal, make some money. At least you can pay for some medical attention later. Okay? If you're not a lay person, then it's different. For us, even my disciples, I don't allow them to heal at all. Even though they're very advanced, I don't allow them because there's some consequences, okay, that would distract them from their cultivation, or they will impede their making progress. Our objective is to bring them up there quicker. So we try to avoid obstructions and impediments. That's why I tell them not to heal unless I allow them to. Okay? But for lay people, I applaud your desire to learn to heal, but it's too dangerous. I would not heal. I see lay people who went to healing things, they all get in trouble, all of them. My master, who is much better than I am, Master YongHua, he healed people left and right. He died young. He died at the age of 74 when he was planning to live until 100 years old. He can't handle it. You think you can? So be careful. Find some other hobbies, please. I don't recommend it. It's too dangerous. Can you handle it? See this? Huh?
I'm compelled. I was a nurse when I was 18.
Can you see this? Huh?
I don't see.
That's a sickness that I'm dealing with. I'm resolving. You don't know how to do this, do you? And you dare heal others? Okay. I wouldn't do it. Seriously. You regret it. Because it's endless. Yes, one.
Oh, no, I just don't have it.
Okay, you have no questions? Okay, very good. I've seen too many people who are healers. They all get in trouble, all of them. So that's why if you heal, get paid. If you can't, okay, don't do it for free. Yes.
Hi, Master. I have a question. If there's a family member has probably a mental illness or a grudge after a big life event, like a family member's passing, then now she is cynical to the other family members, to other people.
Yes.
Then how this problem should be resolved?
So what's her problem again?
She is being very mad at other family members,
Okay.
and probably is some sort of mental illness.
Go see a doctor.
Because she totally becomes like a different person, very different from how she was before, after a life event, after family's passing, members passing.
Okay.
Yeah. So how can this problem be resolved?
It's really very delicate. Number one, usually when someone passes in your family and the family gets together, you don't realize how dangerous of a thing it is. Because most likely you go to some sort of funeral homes or cemeteries and so forth, and those places are full of ghosts and demons who like nothing better than possess you and render you crazy. They follow you home. They jump on you. They follow you home. This is why people don't realize that I don't like to go to funeral homes. I'm scared. Okay, it's not worth it to me. That's why I need to go funeral homes and have deal with such beings. That's why they are. Cemeteries. I hate cemeteries. Okay. Hospitals. I don't like hospitals.
She didn't go to a hospital and funeral because it's another country. She couldn't go back as well.
Okay.
So, but I don't know why. Like she has changed so much.
It's not just that. It also, what happens is when you have a tragic loss, big tragedy, they come possess you as well. You open the door for them to come in, especially when you are extremely afflicted. Was she afflicted from the loss, from the death? Okay, it happens. Okay, so the ghost will come in and possess. But of course, we can't. We shouldn't talk about it because it's someone else's life. Okay, but most likely she's possessed by a ghost, and that's why you notice the change in behavior. Okay, and it happens quite often with when there is a death in the family. The whole family is very vulnerable in so many ways for them to come in. Okay, and it's not easy to resolve, and not only that, that person. The ghost in that person, number one, you cannot go and get some diagnosis because she may refuse to go, okay? Number two, when you hang around that person, the ghost will jump on the people who are near her, whether it's at work or whether it's at home. They are carriers, okay? and when you're near her, there's certain things you do that open the doors for them to come in that you don't realize. Okay, and that's why they jump over. Once they jump over you, they can come in and come out anytime they feel like. It's very, very precarious situation, and so it's not easy to resolve, and all you can do is try to avoid it yourself, avoid being near that person. And when you're near that person, you recite Wan Yin's name or Medicine Master Buddha's name, okay, to protect yourself, okay? Until that person wants to resolve herself, it's very difficult. Okay? Yes?
Sorry. So what if the person want to try to hurt you or just do something, to hurt her family members, still having the grudge, and should we forgive or just not respond or just avoid? It's very hard to resolve.
Yeah, very difficult to resolve. Basically, if you owe her, she will hurt you. Especially if you owe the ghost. The ghost will hurt you. Okay, so it's very, very involved. It's not that easily described. This is why you can go see therapists, you can get diagnosis and so forth, but it doesn't mean you can resolve it. So what you do is, number one, you should learn to recognize the danger and recite the Buddha's name, Wan Yin's name, Medicine Master Buddha's name, to protect yourself. And teach people who believe you to do that as well, number one. Number two, it becomes untenable, where actually that thing happens, where actually she actually goes crazy. Then you need some spiritual help, okay? It's too involved to talk in public.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, A.
From Snow, my life is simple and peaceful recently, and things go smoothly. But I start to worry that it might be big trouble. There might be big trouble ahead of me. What should I do with such thoughts and continue to enjoy a peaceful life?
Very good. I'm glad you're enjoying having a peaceful life. Can we switch places? My life is anything but peaceful, and rarely enjoyable. Never mind, I'm going to get depressed very soon. Number one, enjoy what you still can. If it's enjoyable, that's peaceful, enjoy it. But what's most important is not to be attached to it. It's like the seasons. Sometimes it's enjoyable, sometimes it's not. It's like people as well. Sometimes your children are lovely, and sometimes, to me, most of the time, they're not. Okay? So you see, so enjoy it. Don't be so attached to it. You're learning Chan meditation from Xin Xin, right? So she should be reminding you that enjoy where you still can. And most importantly, don't be attached to it. You should not be attached to neither the joy nor the challenges or the suffering. That's part of the Chan training. Okay? And that's how, if you're interested in that at all, I bet you are, for you, you should not definitely be attached to that peace and joy right there. That's called bliss from samadhi. And apparently you've been experiencing that, and that's why it lasts quite a bit for you, because you have some skills there. However, the caveat is that this bliss and joy will increase. You can look forward to it becoming stronger and bigger and more significant through improvement. If you keep on improving, the bliss and peace will become stronger, even more enjoyable. Why would you stop there? Okay? So in order for you to improve, I may warn you, number one, you need not be attached to this peace and joy. Not look forward to it every single time, every day. If it happens, let it be. Okay? And number two, that if you want to improve quicker, you have to suffer more. That's all. So that's the secret. Number one, don't be attached. If it is enjoyable, let it be. Enjoy it, okay? But definitely do not be attached to it. Number two, be more greedy and say, I want to, this is a lot more that you can experience, a lot better, a lot more joy, a lot more peace. And in order to do that, you have to also suffer, okay, to get there quicker. Yes, 9.
Thank you, Master. Is teaching a student with mental illness, is it danger as a healing people?
Yes. You're meddling with a mental condition, meaning you're meddling with those ghosts, okay? And therefore, they will not be happy with you. Every time you try to heal someone, right, helping her is part of the healing. Helping your student is part of the healing process. You're meddling, and there's some consequences, okay? But again, be aware of it, but I would not be afraid. Okay? Be cognizant of the fact that there's some consequences, and you say, I know there's some retributions here, but I choose to do it. Okay? But knowing that, I would need to be aware of it and not become scared or have anxiety about it. But eventually, you keep it in mind, eventually you have to learn to resolve those issues. You have some protection anyway. So it falls under the umbrella, so you can be more audacious than most people. Okay, so don't be scared. To put it brief, put it in short. Don't worry about it. Okay, but be aware. Don't be stupid either. Help when you're supposed to help. Don't just go, let me help you. Okay, don't have a bad attitude. When we follow our ideals and do the work we do, because to find fulfillment and meaning in life, don't be afraid to do it, but be aware of the consequences. That's all. And you're in a position where those consequences can be mitigated. So I wouldn't worry. Anyone else? Okay, time is we're running late, so I'm sorry about that. Can we do a lunch offering quickly, because we need to do transference for for today as well. All these requests here behind me, they need to be taken care of. Okay, thank you all for coming. No break. Let's go right into. Yeah.